What's up, gardening friends? Jeff here, Tropical Plant Party. How's everybody doing? I'm good. Busy, but good. A very, 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 very busy week going on here. Just got a new phone, which is what I do my vlogging on. It's pretty much the same phone I had, but 2 years newer. See how I like it. So far, though, so good. I do notice that when I move from side to side, things are blurry, and I don't really like that. It should have a faster shutter than that, but that's okay. So, today we have the solar eclipse. Full totality, it's supposed to be dark. Moon's covered it up completely. I've been practicing shooting it. I do not know how it's going to go though, because I can't really practice without a moon to put over the sun. So there might be a video of the solar eclipse, or there may not. I don't know. This will come out Saturday after the solar eclipse, so if you saw the solar eclipse video, then well, there you go. But before that happens, I need to move the bog bowl. I still have it up here on my potting cart, and I need my potting cart for potting things, potting type activities. And I had originally planned to put this all the way down there on top of that table. The problem, though, is that it's not getting as much sun as it was down there, so I think I have to come up with something different. It does need to go someplace where it's not going to get hit by any sprinklers, so that's kind of the dilemma there. I don't want it getting hit by my tap water. But I do have a spot over by the tiki bar that might work. So over here, none of my sprinklers hit. I have to hand water this little square. And things are getting a little bit shabby. They need to be cut back, so I was actually thinking maybe I can make room right here. I don't know. Let's see. Hey, looks okay to me. Still need to refine some things. I'm going to try and pretty up this clam a little bit. I do have to make sure to leave the clam there because my tortoise has turned this area into his cave. And I really like that he's decided that's where he wants to hang out because I always know where he is. So I don't want to change the area too much or else he'll possibly stop using it. But that means I have a new clamshell planter to do, which I love doing, so that's exciting. This is going to get a lot of sun here. I actually think the contrast of this being pretty much just foliage, really all just foliage, with the rest of the flowers is nice. So things are messy right now. Still need to, yeah, there's still lots of cleaning to do. It's kind of the story of my life out here. A garden is never complete. Though I guess that doesn't mean they can't be clean and tidy. Ugh. And just a quick update on the Nepenthes. There's one, oh, didn't mean to touch it, two, come on now, and a third right here. 3 new pictures forming on it, and the 1, 2, 3 chunks of new growth there. So I'd say this is actually working out surprisingly well. For now, that is. This is why I haven't uploaded a video today or responded to anybody's comments. I prefer to respond on the computer. It just works out better for me that way. But, gonna have to figure that out. So the eclipse was kind of a bust. I mean, it wasn't a bust, it was a life-changing experience. But recording it was a bust. I did get some footage just like of what was happening outside. Maybe you can hear like the doves singing and the crickets chirping and whatnot. The weirdest thing was just the lighting. The lighting was so bizarre. It was like you're outside but you're lit by indoor lighting. I don't know how to explain it. Like being at a Best Buy. And then it was basically pitch black, and that was pretty creepy. But I will talk more on that later. Right now I gotta fix my internet and get back to work. So, after going through the footage here, it turns out I got some better stuff than I thought I did. The problem was, you can see here, I had this filter, and it wasn't the right filter, I don't think, but everybody was sold out within a few weeks before the eclipse of the proper stop filters, and they were insanely expensive. Like a couple $100 for something that shouldn't cost more than 50. There's a tiny little dot. That's the partial eclipse. It's really, really hard to see. I was pretty fascinated with the shadows. All the shadows were very, very sharp. You can see really fine details in them, and that had to do with the angle. Oh, the tortoise. He was kind of pissed off. He kept moving around trying to find the sun, looking around. He'd lay down in one spot and get up and move, and he wasn't too happy with the situation. That Portaloca, I was hoping that that would close up, but it didn't. The eclipse wasn't quite long enough for that. More shadows. Things are getting darker. Here I was in the house, and I was like, whoa, outside looks like a movie set, because the artificial lighting. Thought it looked pretty crazy, and we are like a minute from the full eclipse. And here it is. Boom. Had to move my camera to the side to let things adjust. I didn't want to shock my aperture. But there it is. The full eclipse. I'm really happy that that actually showed up. It's still just a tiny little dot. Even when I zoom in, it's like, hey, look. A black dot on top of a white dot. Not super shocking, but it brings back fun memories. For me, at least. You can see some stars up in the sky also. And this was quick. It was, you know, just under 2 minutes, which is a pretty long time. But I wasn't paying too much attention to the camera at this point because I was really just trying to soak it in. So I thought I hadn't even got it because on the little screen on my camera, it looked like there was absolutely nothing there. But lo and behold, I put on the computer and you could kind of see it, but it was going in and out. And you can see, like, pretty much as soon as the moon moved from the sun, it wouldn't show up anymore. Oh, yep, and then there's the tortoise again, being really confused where the sun went. Well, it's blurry, because I zoomed in from really far away, but man, you can still see those wings. I like that. Not really thrilled with how blurry it is, though. Zoom out. Out, 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 out. A busy little hummingbird. Okay, so I was just sitting here watching this video from Barefoot Gardener here on YouTube, and this part of the movie of his video comes up, and a hummingbird comes from over here. I'm sitting right here and just starts hovering right in front of my face. Stared at the screen for a good 10 seconds. But I think the hummingbird likes your black-eyed Susans. What a sick little sago palm. You ready to see a horrible infestation? Look at that. Look at that. That is horrible. Those are mealybugs. Now, a friend of mine gave this to me. I had no idea how bad the infestation was, or I would have said, you know what? Just throw it away, because I don't want it in my garden. I've been battling mealybugs for like 3 years. Up until that point, I had never seen a mealybug in my life, and I brought home one plant on clearance from Home Depot, and ever since then, I've been battling mealybugs. It was gonna happen eventually, but I certainly don't want to have even more of them around to make things worse. Now, a lot of what we're seeing here is their old webbing and their old skins. If you look closely, there are still live mealybugs in there. So, here's what I'm going to do about it. Now, like I said, typically, I would just throw this away. Sago palms are common, Cycas revolta. It's not worth it to me. Where I live, you can pick these up for anywhere from $5 to $15 a pop. Pretty much anywhere. They sell them at the grocery store. But, for video's sake, let's go ahead and see what we can do. Now, the first thing I always do with mealybugs is I spray them with alcohol. Something stronger than a 50% solution would be ideal, but this is all I have. So I'm going to do this. The reason I'm doing this is because the isopropyl, or just alcohol, has desiccating properties, and mealybugs have a waxy coating on them that repels liquid. So when you spray mealybugs, oftentimes the insecticides aren't very effective because it just beads off of them. So I just did a video, and it was supposed to be part of this blog. It was my sago palm. It has mealybugs all over it. It's actually not my sago palm, somebody gave it to me to fix for them. It ended up being like a 9-minute video, so I don't think it's going to end up being part of this. I'll probably just post it as a separate video, maybe. I'm hesitant to post it as a separate video because I don't know if you've noticed, I don't do a lot of videos that talk about using chemicals because people freak out about chemicals and they don't like, people get upset when you're using chemicals. Understandably, I try and go as organic as possible. I use quotes because something being truly organic is actually fairly complex and not as simple as just avoiding a few chemicals here and there. But, you know, I like to do things that work also, so I went ahead and I used chemicals. But over here, let's see if this will focus. You know what that is? That is a teeny tiny little baby monarch caterpillar. A few days ago I watched them fly around and lay their eggs on this milkweed here. And the babies are just getting big enough to start to see without having to look really hard. You guys see them all in there? Through the shadows? It's a whole bunch of them. There's also an infestation. There are aphids and milkweed beetle larvae in here. But aren't they cute? Little bitty babies! There's a whole bunch of them in there. Those are going to be fun to watch and grow over the next few weeks. So, what's going on here? Well, the ants, those are sugar ants. They're common. We have them all over the place. Hard to get rid of. I usually really like to keep the ants around, but in this particular situation, I think everybody's got to go. Now, the sugar ants, they feed on a sap. They stress the plant out. The plant produces more sap. The sap attracts aphids, whiteflies, mealybugs, all kinds of things. You end up with just an absolute mess of bugs. Finally, time to pot this guy up. And I decided to go ahead and use the Synungium. This is going to get too big eventually, but for the time being, I think that's going to be really pretty cute in there. Now, there is one other option, and it is the Neanthobella. Now, the Neanthobella, obviously, way too big. But when you buy these guys, it looks like, oh, this cluster of palms. Really, it's just where a bunch of seeds were dropped and they sprouted. You can go in and pull out the little guys from the others fairly easily. There's not, in a plant this size, there's not even going to be much root in there. You see that? They just peel right apart. I pulled these guys out. I think that would look kind of cute too. The problem with the Neanthobellas, or the parlor palms, is they remind me in the, like, they just look like a miniature Kentia palm to me, and Kentia palms are absolutely beautiful and gorgeous. However, is that a mealybug? Is that a mealybug? No. Okay, sorry. They remind me of something a little bit more formal, like for an office scape, but I do think that's pretty cute too. What I'm going to be doing with this plant, this pot, ultimately, is going to be understory to a larger plant, so I don't want him holding anything really tall. So I do think that is cute. Even if it were just one in there, I think that'd be really cute. Actually, let's try that out. Yep, that's pretty adorable. Oh, I don't know what to do. But first I need to get this guy filled with dirt. I'm using the Happy Frog potting mix. It's probably my favorite. I'm doing it like this in a container. It just makes it so much easier to work the dirt in and not have the spillage, because this whole thing is shaped all the way down in here. So all that has to be filled. Okay, so kind of went the have my cake eaten too. Got the palms back there and the Synungium, the white butterfly. I think that looks pretty darn cute. And these go well together. Neither of them need much light. They both like a lot of water, which is not great for bonsai. But this will do for now. I usually change this guy out like every 6 months, so it's just sort of a fun, simple thing to play with. Now, the Sarracenias are doing okay. You know, they've just been freshly repotted, so there's some pitcher die-off and whatnot. I kind of expected that, especially with the Flava, because they're an early variety. That video where I planted that actually went out today. Today's Thursday. I was going to do the Missouri Botanical Light Show thing today, but I hadn't really done anything plant related, so that'll be out later. Maybe I'll put a clip here in this video somewhere. But since this has the Sarracenia in it, in this area, I'm having to be really careful where my hose hits when I'm watering things. So I'm thinking about just turning this kind of little section here into like a designated succulent spot. I think that will work better because the succulents don't need to be watered very often, and this guy obviously needs a lot of water, but I can control it better. I don't have to come over here with the hose and spray everything. So I think that'll work better. And then these are all extra. Hi! Hello from Shadow Me. These are all extra pots and things I cleaned out when I cleaned out the garage. I need to do something with them. Rest in peace, coconut palm. They make terrible houseplants. But, so yeah, I need to get these cleaned up and put away. I'd like to do something with this. This is one of my favorite pots. Lots of flowers on the hibiscus today. I think it's the solar eclipse. Sprung everything into action. Not really. This right here, I keep on calling it my lower pedalum. It's not a lower pedalum. This is the Lespedeza. It is massive. I've had it for years. Trailing down to the ground, and it is almost in its full glory. That is probably going to get its own video, because I think they are very, very, very underused plants. Oh, up here. Look at this. So I pruned this in last week's video, and we already have new buds. They're there, trust me. New buds, new growth. Need to scrape out the old dead stuff from the storms and whatnot. But yeah, that's come out pretty nice. You can see this one I cut back a few weeks prior to that one, and it's got lots of new growth. So hopefully these will catch up with each other. Japanese anemones looking great. This azalea. Now I have it sitting in this clearance pot that I like. It's a nice looking pot. But I also think... Ooh, almost just broke everything. Okay. One-handed gardening. This azalea would also be a candidate, a good candidate for a fairly large bonsai type plant. So, I'm gonna have to make up my mind on what to do with that. Still got some stuff to handle down here in the Serenity Garden. Orchids are doing okay. This is not getting enough sun anymore. The sun moved. I'm constantly chasing that darn sun. But there's some things going into spike, so they seem to be okay with it, and if it ain't broke, I don't want to fix it. There's a lot of foliar growth, but I would like some flowers. I think that would be nice. I sprayed these down with Rust-Oleum, and look, and these were made to be hung outdoors. I don't want to return them because I can't find anything else for a good price that works here. I'm a little bit peeved that they're already rusting and they're made for outdoor use, and I coated them with Rust-Oleum. Maybe there was already some rust under there when I sprayed them. I don't know. Okay, so there's not much left to do out here. I have been toying with the idea of attaching a few of my Vandas to this lava rock over here and letting them just take off. But like I just said, this isn't getting much sun down here, so it's not going to work very well. And I really don't know how I feel about having to move a small boulder in and out of the house every fall and spring. And as I had hoped, I rubbed these down with peat hummus mix, and they're starting to naturalize. Things are starting to grow on them. I'm going to try and get some moss into them, so I think I'll probably just leave them be. There's no sense, like, a Vanda growing right next to a fern. Logically, that just doesn't make sense. There's just not going to be enough light here. But I want to try it anyways. I don't think I will, but I would like to just do it. But I probably won't. But you know how I feel about rules, so I might end up doing it anyways. So, I'm going to work over here, tidy some things up. I'm going to tidy some stuff up down there where I was just talking. And then I have to wrap this up. I hope I have enough plant content for this week's gardening video. It's been a really chaotic week with the eclipse and family in town. Yesterday was my mother's birthday, so didn't really do anything plant related. I just, wrapped presents and did family stuff, which was nice. But not productive to the garden at all. This queen palm's got a lot of nice new growth on it. Looking good. That is not going to fit in the house this year. Look at that. It's actually, I think, taller than the Alexander palm, which is up to the second story oh man. Well, that's going to be a pickle to figure out. I don't need to worry about that right now. I can worry about that later. So, gonna get to work, and hopefully we'll be able to come back with an update and say, look at everything I did, or, you know, just decide to do something else and that won't even happen. I don't know. Alright, that's not bad. There's a path here at least. Gotta clean some dirt up. Went ahead, got all the pots put away. Yeah. This'll do. It's an improvement. That wheelbarrow, though, that thing is full of ants. Like, I touched it and it was just covered. So I'm probably going to flush it out. I drilled holes in the bottom a long time ago. And then I will take that old dirt and move it to the butterfly garden and till that in and help re-enrich the area. And I am pretty happy with how that turned out. This face is a little bit blocked. Like I said, I change this out every few months, so no big deal. Did I remember to tell you guys I'm on Snapchat? I joined Snapchat. I've been on Snapchat, but I have a specific Snapchat set up now for this channel. I don't remember what the name is, though. So I'll have to look that up, and I'll put it down in the description below. So you guys can find me on Snapchat. I'm also on Twitter. Again, I don't remember what the name is. I think it's Tropical Plant JC on Twitter. And that might be the same thing on Snapchat. I'm not sure, but I'll put it in the description. Okay, and that's going to do it for this week. Hope everybody's doing well. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share all that fun stuff. Let me know what's going on in your garden. I try and post multiple times a week. And as always, keep on growing, everybody. Bye-bye.